Hello and welcome back again on this M.P.S Academy official site, and this is class 9 Civics chapter 1 lecture 2 final video from me. Yes, it is Vijay Kumar Chaudhary. So in this video, dear students, you are going to learn about the final chapter, not the final chapter, the second chapter, that is what is democracy and why democracy. In the earlier video we had discussed many things, and in this video finally we will complete the chapter. We will try to understand the features of democracy, we will try to understand the merit of democracy, the demerit of democracy, and in fact we will learn the broader meaning of democracy. And for this we will have a case studies of 4 different countries, and those countries are Pakistan, China, Mexico and Zimbabwe. So without wasting time, let's start. So in the earlier video we will have a recap once again. I had given you the definition of democracy, and it was, what is democracy? So the simple definition is that the democracy is the form of government in which the rulers are elected by the people. But this simple definition is not adequate. This raises many questions like, who are the rulers? What kind of election? Who are the people? What kind of form of government? So let us consider each of these questions with examples. And yes, for this we will take the first case study, and this is the first feature of democracy that we are going to study. Case study of Pakistan under General Musharraf. Now, General Musharraf led a military coup in October 1999. He overthrew the democratically elected government. He declared the chief executive of the country, and in 2002 he changed his position to president. Then he held a referendum, 5 years extension. Media, human rights organizations and democratic activists said referendum was based on malpractices and fraud. In August 2002, he issued a legal framework order and amended the constitution of Pakistan. According to this order, President can dismiss the national or provisional assemblies. After passing this law, Pakistan had elections, elected representatives, had some power, but the final power rests with the military officers and General Musharraf himself. तो जनरल मुशर्रफ ने 1999 में तख्ता पलट किया और बड़े ही नाटकीय ढंग से वहाँ की जो चुनी हुई सरकार थी उसको उखाड़ फेंका और ख़ुद को देश का चीफ ऑफ एग्जीक्यूटिव बना दिया। 2002 में अपने आप को प्रेसिडेंट घोषित कर दिया, फिर रेफरेंडम लिया और बहुत सारे चुनाव वगैरह जो करवाया उसने, तो उसमें सारी शक्ति अपने ही पास रखा और मिलिट्री के पास रही, बाकी रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स को कुछ नहीं मिलता था। तो इस केस स्टडी से हमें क्या मिलता है, क्या पता चलता है? सो वी क्लियरली देयर आर मैनी रीजंस why Pakistan under General Musharraf cannot be called a democracy. But let's we focus on one of these. Can we say that rulers are elected by people in Pakistan at that time? Not quite. People may have elected their representative to the national and provincial assemblies, but those elected representatives are not really the rulers. लोगों ने अपने प्रतिनिधि को तो चुना, लेकिन असली शासक तो वे थे नहीं, क्योंकि सारी शक्ति मुशर्रफ के पास थी. They cannot take the final decision. The power to take the final decision rests with the army officials and with General Musharraf, and none of them are elected by the people. So this cannot be called people's rule. So this gives us our first feature. So what is this? In a democracy, the final decision making power must rest with those elected by the people. जनता ने जिसे चुना वही निर्णय लेगा, दूसरा कोई नहीं. So now let's talk about the second feature, and we will study about China. Yes, in China, elections are regularly held after every 5 years. For electing the country's parliament, that is Quango Renmin Dahui, that means the National People's Congress. Now they have the power to appoint the president. The assembly means the National People's Congress have the power to appoint the president. Now it have nearly 3,000 people elected from all parts. In this Congress there are almost 3,000 people. Some members are elected by the army. Now before contesting the elections, the candidates needs the approval of Chinese Communist Party. Yes, whoever wants to contest the election, Chinese Communist Party will approve that, okay, you can. Only those who member in the Communist Party or 8 smaller parties allied to it were allowed to contest election held in 2002 and 2003. The government is always formed by the Communist Party. There is no other party, only one single party. So now what happened? We will take a look about Mexico. Now, which form of government is in Mexico? Since its independence in 1930, Mexico holds election after every 6 years to elect its president. The country has never been under military rule or dictator rule. Means it is always in democracy. But until 2000, all elections was won by a party called PRI, that is Institutional Revolutionary Party. Opposition parties did contest the election but never win the election. Why? Because the PRI used many dirty tricks to win the election. All those who employed in government offices had to attend its party meetings. Teachers of government school forced parents to vote to PRI. Media ignored the activities of opposition parties except to criticize them. Sometimes the polling booths were shifted from one place to another place in the last minutes, which made difficult to the people to cast their votes. The PRI spent a large sum of money in the campaign for its candidates, right? So now, doing this was never a correct thing. In China, there is only one party. In Mexico, there is many party, but PRI is always winning the election. So let's have a look once again. We are talking the second feature. So should we consider the elections prescribed above as examples of people electing their rulers? Means in China also or in Mexico. Reading these examples, we get a sense that we cannot. There are many problems here. In China, the elections do not offer any serious choice. They have to choose the ruling party and the people approved by it. Only those who are approved by Communist Party will go for it. So can we call this a choice? Because there is no other party. So it's not a choice. It's what you say. It's forced on the people. In the Mexican example, people seem to really have a choice, but in practice they have no choice. There was no way to the ruling party would defeat it, even if people were against it. These are not fair elections. So we can thus add a second feature to our understanding of democracy, and that feature is democracy must be based on a free and fair election where those currently in power have a fair chance of losing. So if there is no free and fair election, it is not proper. Okay? Why it is not proper? Because Abraham Lincoln had said that it is of the people, for the people, by the people. Means it's people's rule. And if it is not fair, then it is not people's rule. So now let's go to the third feature. Okay, so we are here on the third feature of the democracy. Now in third feature, you see in Saudi Arabia, women do not have the right to vote. And Estonia made its citizenship rules in such a way that people belonging to Russian minority find it difficult to get the right to vote. In Fiji, the electoral system is such that the vote of an indigenous Fiji has more value than that of an Indian Fijian. So, in above all these three cases, all the citizens are not granted the right of vote. Can this be called democracy? No, this cannot be called democracy, as democracy is based on a fundamental principle of political equality, and that gives us the third feature of democracy, and that is in a democracy, each adult citizen must have one vote and each must have one value, not more than one. Now, let's go to the fourth feature. So, the fourth feature is let's have a case study of Zimbabwe. So Zimbabwe attained independence from white minority in 1980. Since then, the country has been ruled by ZANU-PF. The party led the freedom struggle. Yes, the party ZANU-PF. The leader is Robert Mugabe. He has been ruling the country since independence. Elections have been held regularly. Always one party won, and that is ZANU. President is popular but uses unfair practices in election, change the constitution and increase the power of a president and makes him less accountable. All this thing means इसकी विश्वसनीयता जो है रॉबर्ट मुगाबे अपनी विश्वसनीयता को कम करे. वैसे वो पॉपुलर हैं लेकिन हमेशा गलत तरीके अपनाते हैं इलेक्शंस जीतने के लिए. ऑपोजिशन पार्टी वर्कर्स हरास्ड एंड डिसरप्टेड. ऑपोजिशन की जो पार्टी है उनको हरास किया जाता है, डिसरप्ट किया जाता है, परेशान किया जाता है. देर इज़ अ लॉ दैट लिमिट्स द राइट टू क्रिटिसाइज द प्रेसिडेंट. और एक कानून भी बनाई गई है कि प्रेसिडेंट को आप क्रिटिसाइज नहीं कर सकते. टीवी एंड रेडियो आर कंट्रोल्ड बाय गवर्नमेंट एंड गिव ओनली रूलिंग पार्टी वर्जन, यानी सेंसरशिप है. देर आर इंडिपेंडेंट न्यूज़ पेपर्स बट द गवर्नमेंट हरासेस दोज जर्नलिस्ट हु गो अगेंस्ट दैम. इंडिपेंडेंट न्यूज़पेपर है लेकिन जो सरकार के खिलाफ लिखता है या बोलता है तो सरकार उसके खिलाफ कानूनन कार्रवाई करती है. द गवर्नमेंट हैज़ इग्नोर्ड सम कोर्ट जजमेंट्स एंड वेंट अगेंस्ट इट एंड हैज़ प्रेशराइज जजेस. यहाँ तक कि जो जजेस हैं उन जजेस को भी प्रेशराइज करते हैं. तो जिम्बाब्वे की स्थिति यह है कि भाई 1980 में जब से वो स्वाधीन हुए हैं और जानू पीएफ पार्टी जिन्होंने स्वतंत्रता संग्राम का नेतृत्व किया था और उसके लीडर है रॉबर्ट मुगाबे। तो तब से लेकर अभी तक वही चलते आ रहे हैं और वही जीतते आ रहे हैं। कई सारे माल प्रैक्टिसेस हैं, कई सारी गलत नीतियां हैं। चलिए आगे देखते हैं। द एग्जाम्पल ऑफ जिम्बाब्वे शोज दैट द पॉपुलर अप्रूवल ऑफ द रूलर इज नेसेसरी इन अ डेमोक्रेसी। यानी ठीक है, पॉपुलर होना सही बात है, बट इट इज़ नॉट सफिशिएंट। पॉपुलर गवर्नमेंट्स कैन बी अनडेमोक्रेटिक। जो लोकप्रिय सरकार है, जो जनता जिस नेता को अपना बहुत ज़्यादा मानती है, वो अनडेमोक्रेटिक भी हो सकता है। जिम्बाब्वे का एग्जाम्पल देख के हमें पता चलता है। If we wish to assess a democracy, it is important to look at the elections, but it is more important to look after the elections. There should be sufficient room for normal political activity, including political opposition in the period before elections. This requires that the state should respect some basic rights of the citizen. लोगों की नागरिकता का अधिकार का सुरक्षा होना चाहिए. They should be free to think, to have opinions, to express it in public, to form associations, to protest and to take other political actions. Everyone should be equal in the eyes of law. This right must be protected by an independent judiciary whose orders are obeyed by everyone. So in this aspect, we have the fourth feature, and that is a democratic government rules within limits set by constitutional law and citizens' right. Now we will talk about the merits of democracy. A democratic government is better government because it is more accountable form of government. विश्वसनीय है. Democracy improves the quality of decision making. Okay. The third point is democracy provides a method to deal with differences and conflicts. It is suitable the countries like India, which have diversity of language, religions, and culture. Democracy in India made it possible to keep unity in diversity. In a democracy, no one is a permanent winner or no one is a permanent loser. Democracy is better than other forms of government because it allows us to correct its own mistakes. Democracy enhances the dignity of citizens because it is based on the principle of political equality, on recognizing that the poorest and least educated have the same status as the rich and the educated. Means everyone has the same equal right. Okay. Now, what is the demerit of democracy? So, the first demerit is that the leaders keep changing in a democracy, and this leads to instability. Democracy is all about political competition and power play, and there is no scope for morality. Okay, दैट मीन्स डेमोक्रेसी में नेता जो है बदलते रहते हैं, जिसकी वजह से अस्थिरता आती है, और साथ ही डेमोक्रेसी पूरी तरह से राजनीतिक खेल है, जिसकी वजह से नैतिकता का कोई वहाँ पर स्कोप है ही नहीं. इलेक्टेड लीडर्स डू नॉट नो द बेस्ट इंटरेस्ट ऑफ द पीपल. इट लीड्स टू बैड डिसीजंस. Okay, ordinary people don't know what is bad good for them. They don't know to decide. They don't know to distinguish between democratic and non-democratic government. Okay, when we distinguish democratic and non-democratic government, democracy is the best, but the rulers are not form of government, as accountable to the rulers are people and their needs, accountable to the people and have to fulfill their needs. So these all things are there. That is very important. But apart from these demerits, I think that democracy is still the best form of government. Now let's compare between democratic government and non-democratic government. So democratic government. In democratic government, people elect their rulers. In a non-democratic government, people do not elect their rulers. In a democracy, final decision making power must rest with those who are elected by the people. Means जिसको चुना गया उसके पास decision making power होना चाहिए. In a non-democratic government, the final power rests with the dictator or a monarch. नॉन डेमोक्रेटिक में पावर जो है डिक्टेटर के पास होता है, या फिर जो तानाशाह है उसके पास, या फिर राजा के पास. यानी डेमोक्रेसी में जनता ने जिसको चुना वो डिसीजन लेता है. नॉन डेमोक्रेसी में जो तानाशाह है या फिर जो राजा है वो निर्णय लेता है. ठीक है, तो ये कंपैरिजन की और भी पॉइंट्स हैं, आगे देखते हैं हम. तो कुल मिलाकर हम ये पाते हैं कि इन दोनों पॉइंट्स को देखने के बाद डेमोक्रेसी ही ज़्यादा बेहतर लग रही है कि इसमें क्या हो रहा है. आगे है कंपैरिजन में अगला पॉइंट है, ऑल द राइट्स आर गिवन टू पीपल नाउ और सम राइट्स आर गिवन टू पीपल. नॉन डेमोक्रेटिक में, डेमोक्रेसी में क्या लोगों को सारे अधिकार मिलते हैं, और नॉन डेमोक्रेटिक में या तो नहीं मिलते या तो कुछ अधिकार मिलते हैं. डेमोक्रेसी में क्या यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट फ्रेंचाइजी है, इसकी ये चलता है. जनरली यूनिवर्सल एडल्ट फ्रेंचाइजी इज नॉट प्रैक्टिस. यानी डेमोक्रेसी में जनता, सभी जनता वोट करती है, चुनाव लड़ती है, चुनाव की बात होती है. नॉन डेमोक्रेटिक गवर्नमेंट में ये सब नहीं होता है. ठीक है. तो अभी तक हमने 4 फीचर्स को जाने, कंपैरिजन किया. अब एक ब्रॉडर मीनिंग को देखते हैं. व्हाट इज द ब्रॉडर मीनिंग ऑफ डेमोक्रेसी? ओके, so in this chapter we understood the meaning of democracy in a limited and descriptive sense, and we have understood democracy is a form of government. The most common form that democracy takes in our times is that of a representative democracy. हमारे देश में वैसा ही है. In the countries we call democracy, all the people do not rule. A majority is allowed to take decision on behalf of all the people, means the persons whom we have elected, they are ruling on behalf of us. Even majority does not rule directly rule through their elected representatives. यानी जो हमारे इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स हैं वो हमारे लिए रूल करते हैं, वो सारे डिसीजंस लेते हैं, वो सब कुछ करते हैं. ठीक है, आगे और भी बातें हैं. ब्रॉडर मीनिंग में अगर हम आते हैं, इवन इफ दे कुड, द सिटीजन्स डज नॉट हैव द टाइम, द डिज़ायर और द स्किल्स टू टेक पार्ट इन ऑल द डिसीजंस. नागरिकों के पास उतना समय नहीं है कि वो सभी सरकार की क्रियाओं में हिस्सा ले सके, भाग ले सके. ओके, मॉडर्न डेमोक्रेसीज इन्वॉल्व सच एज अ लार्ज नंबर ऑफ पीपल दैट इज फिजिकली इम्पॉसिबल फॉर देम टू सिट टुगेदर एंड टेक अ कलेक्टिवली डिसीजन. इन डेमोक्रेसी मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द पीपल रूल थ्रू देयर इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव. इन अ डेमोक्रेसी एवरी सिटीजन must be able to play equal role in decision making. For this, you don't need just an equal right to vote. Every citizen needs to have equal information, basic education, equal resources, and a lot of commitment. These things are the roots of democracy. Well, thank you for watching this video, and we'll be back soon with another chapter and with other videos as well. So stay tuned. Have a good time. Be safe. Till then, bye bye.